There is a moment that comes quietly, often without announcement, when you begin to notice something profound. The things you once rushed toward no longer call to you with the same urgency. The opinions you used to chase feel suddenly weightless. The battles you once fought seem, in retrospect, like shadows dancing on a wall. This is not decline. This is not giving up. This is something far more precious. This is wisdom arriving, gentle and patient, inviting you to live differently. We are told, from our earliest years, that more is better. Work harder, strive longer, prove yourself endlessly. And perhaps, in younger seasons, that urgency served a purpose. But as the years accumulate, something inside begins to shift. You start to realize that the relentless doing, the constant proving, the exhausting pursuit of approval has left you tired in ways that sleep cannot cure. And in that realization, a question emerges. What if happiness does not come from adding more, but from releasing what was never truly necessary? The ancient Buddhist teachers spoke of a concept that seems paradoxical to our modern ears. They called it effortless action, a way of moving through the world that is simultaneously engaged and unforced, present yet unburdened. It is not laziness in the way we typically understand it. It is wisdom. It is the art of knowing when to hold and when to release, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to simply be. As we age, this wisdom becomes not just available to us, but essential. Because the truth is this: the lazier you become about certain things, the happier you will be. Research has shown something remarkable. Study after study confirms that older adults report higher levels of happiness than their younger counterparts. By the time most people reach their 70s, they experience a profound uptick in life satisfaction, even as physical capacities may decline. This is not denial or delusion. This is the fruit of letting go. Older adults naturally become less reactive to negative emotions, more appreciative of positive experiences, and more skilled at focusing on what truly matters. They stop wasting energy on trivial concerns. They become, in the most beautiful sense, lazy about things that do not deserve their precious attention. So what are these things? What should we stop trying so hard to do? What burdens can we finally set down? In the next moments together, we will explore 8 specific areas where becoming lazy, becoming effortless, becoming unburdened can transform your experience of aging from something to endure into something to savor. This is not about giving up on life. This is about finally, truly, beginning to live. Be lazy about caring what others think. For how many years have you carried the weight of other people's opinions? How many decisions have you made not because they felt true to you, but because they would please someone else, impress a stranger, or avoid judgment from those who barely know you? This invisible cage of approval has likely shaped more of your life than you realize. And the beautiful, liberating truth of growing older is this: you no longer have to live inside it. When you were younger, social approval felt like survival. Your reputation, your standing, the way others perceived you seemed to determine your opportunities, your connections, your very worth. But with age comes a clarity that younger years cannot provide. You begin to see that most of the judgments you feared were projections, assumptions, fleeting thoughts that held no real power except the power you gave them. The person who criticized you at a dinner party 10 years ago has long forgotten the comment. The neighbor who disapproved of your choices has moved on to new concerns. The opinions that once felt like verdicts were merely passing weather. Buddhist wisdom teaches that attachment to the approval of others is a form of suffering. When we tie our peace to external validation, we become like leaves blown about by every shifting wind. We cannot control what others think. We cannot force them to see us as we wish to be seen, and the exhausting attempt to do so drains us of the very energy we need to actually live our lives with authenticity and joy. Be lazy about caring what others think, not in a defiant, rebellious way, but in a gentle, wise way. Stop overanalyzing their reactions. Stop replaying conversations to see if you said the wrong thing. Stop performing a version of yourself designed to win approval. Instead, ask yourself the only question that matters: do I respect the person I am becoming? This does not mean you become unkind or indifferent to feedback. It means you stop handing your inner peace over to people who are not living your life. It means you choose your own approval over theirs. And in that choice, something miraculous happens. You begin to walk lighter, your shoulders drop, your breath deepens. You reclaim the energy you have been pouring into an unwinnable game. And paradoxically, when you stop desperately seeking approval, you often become more genuinely liked. Because people are drawn to those who are at home in themselves. Be lazy about arguing and getting pulled into drama. There was a time when being right mattered deeply. When someone challenged your viewpoint, you felt compelled to defend it, to convince them, to win the argument. When conflict arose, you engaged fully, certain that your perspective must prevail. But with the passage of years, something shifts. You begin to notice that most arguments are not about truth at all. They are about ego. They are about the desperate need to be seen as right, as smart, as superior, and they are utterly exhausting. Drama follows a similar pattern. Someone creates chaos, pulls you into their emotional storm, demands you take sides, fix things, get involved. And for years, you may have obliged. You jumped in, you mediated, you absorbed their stress as your own. But now, standing at this stage of life, you can see it for what it is: a drain on your peace that offers nothing in return. Buddhist teachings remind us that silence is often more powerful than speech, that stepping back is not the same as weakness, that choosing peace over being right is the mark of wisdom, not defeat. The truth does not need your defense. Reality will reveal itself in time, and the conflicts that once seemed so urgent often dissolve on their own when you stop feeding them with your energy. Be lazy about arguing. When someone baits you into debate, smile and say nothing. When drama erupts around you, step quietly aside. You do not owe anyone your participation in their chaos. Your peace is more valuable than any point you could make. Your silence is not agreement. It is preservation. It is the choice to protect your inner calm rather than sacrifice it on the altar of being right. This does not mean you become passive in the face of injustice. It means you choose your battles with great care. You speak when your voice can truly make a difference, when the situation genuinely matters, when your words can heal rather than harm. But the daily arguments, the petty disagreements, the need to correct every misunderstanding, let them go. Walk away. Save your energy for what truly deserves it. Be lazy about fixing everyone's problems. You have spent much of your life as a helper, a solver, a fixer. When others struggled, you stepped in. When someone needed rescuing, you arrived. It felt good to be needed. It felt meaningful to ease their burdens. But somewhere along the way, You may have crossed a line. You began carrying weight that was never yours to carry. You began solving problems that others needed to solve for themselves, and in doing so, you depleted yourself while inadvertently preventing them from growing. Buddhist philosophy teaches the concept of skillful compassion. True compassion does not mean doing everything for others. It means creating space for them to discover their own strength. It means offering support without taking away their agency. Each person has their own path, their own lessons to learn. When you rush in to fix everything, you rob them of the very experiences that could teach them resilience, wisdom, and self-reliance. Be lazy about fixing everyone's problems, not because you stop caring, but because you recognize that caring and controlling are not the same thing. You can love someone deeply while allowing them to struggle. You can be present without being responsible. You can listen without solving. You can hold space without holding their entire burden. This shift requires discernment. There are moments when help is truly needed, when your assistance can make a genuine difference. An elderly parent who needs care, a friend facing a crisis beyond their capacity, a child who needs guidance. In these situations, your support is a gift. But the chronic complainer who never changes, the adult child who expects you to bail them out repeatedly, the friend who creates the same drama over and over, you are not obligated to keep rescuing them. When you stop fixing everything, something unexpected happens. People become stronger. They discover capabilities they did not know they had. And you recover energy you did not realize you had been giving away. You create boundaries not from cruelty, but from wisdom. You learn that helping without carrying is the most loving thing you can do. Be lazy about clinging to perfection and regret. Perfectionism is a thief. It steals joy from the present by demanding an impossible standard. It whispers that you are not enough, that your efforts fall short, that one more revision, one more attempt, one more try will finally bring satisfaction. But satisfaction never comes, because perfectionism is not about excellence. It is about fear, fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being exposed as somehow deficient. And then there is regret, perfectionism's companion, the endless replay of past mistakes, the what-ifs and should-haves that echo through your mind. The belief that if only you had done things differently, life would have unfolded better. Regret keeps you chained to a past you cannot change, while robbing you of a present you could actually enjoy. Buddhist wisdom offers a radical alternative. It teaches that mistakes are not failures, they are teachers. Every misstep, every wrong turn, every decision you now wish you could undo has shaped you into the person you are today. Without them, you would not have the depth, the compassion, the understanding you now possess. Regret assumes you should have known better, but you could not have known better. You acted with the awareness you had at the time. And that awareness has grown precisely because of those experiences. Be lazy about chasing perfection. Let things be good enough. Let your home be comfortable rather than magazine-worthy. Let your appearance be authentic rather than flawless. Let your efforts be sincere rather than perfect. The energy you waste trying to eliminate every flaw could be spent actually living, actually experiencing the fleeting beauty of this moment. Be lazy about replaying regret. Yes, you made mistakes. Yes, you wish some things had gone differently. But dwelling on the unchangeable past is like watering a dead plant. It accomplishes nothing. Instead, turn toward gratitude. Thank your younger self for doing the best they could. Forgive them for not knowing what only time could teach, and then release that chain. Step into the present, where your actual life is waiting. Be lazy about accumulating unnecessary possessions. The ancient Buddhist teachers spoke of a concept that seems paradoxical to our modern ears. They called it effortless action, a way of moving through the world that is simultaneously engaged and unforced, present yet unburdened. It is not laziness in the way we typically understand it. It is wisdom. It is the art of knowing when to hold and when to release, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to simply be. Research has confirmed what Buddhist teachers have long understood. Physical clutter creates mental clutter. A crowded space overwhelms the senses, raises stress levels, and makes it harder to think clearly. Conversely, a simplified environment promotes calm, enhances focus, and allows peace to settle. When you release unnecessary possessions, you are not losing anything, you are making room. Room to breathe, room to think, room to simply be. Research has confirmed what Buddhist teachers have long understood. Physical clutter creates mental clutter. A crowded space overwhelms the senses, raises stress levels, and makes it harder to think clearly. Conversely, a simplified environment promotes calm, enhances focus, and allows peace to settle. When you release unnecessary possessions, you are not losing anything, you are making room. Room to breathe, room to think, room to simply be. Be lazy about accumulating unnecessary possessions. Be lazy about holding on to what no longer serves you. Walk through your home with gentle honesty. Touch each item and ask, does this reflect who I am now? Does this bring me joy? Does this serve a purpose? If the answer is no, release it. Donate it. Give it to someone who will actually use it. Let it go. You are not your possessions. Your memories do not live in objects. They live in you. And freeing yourself from physical clutter creates space for what actually matters. Experiences, relationships, presence, peace. Be lazy about pleasing everyone. Be lazy about chasing perfection. Let things be good enough. Let your home be comfortable rather than magazine-worthy. Let your appearance be authentic rather than flawless. Let your efforts be sincere rather than perfect. The energy you waste trying to eliminate every flaw could be spent actually living, actually experiencing the fleeting beauty of this moment. For many, the habit of people-pleasing runs deep. It may have started in childhood, where approval meant safety. It may have been reinforced by societal expectations, especially for women, who are often taught that their value lies in caretaking and accommodation. But at this stage of life, you have earned the right to choose yourself, not in a selfish way, in a sacred way, in a way that recognizes your needs, your limits, your truth are just as valid as anyone else's. Buddhist teachings emphasize the middle way, the path between extremes. This applies to relationships as well. You do not have to swing from endless self-sacrifice to complete indifference. You can be kind without being a doormat. You can be generous without being depleted. You can care about others while also caring about yourself. Be lazy about pleasing everyone. Be lazy about maintaining relationships that only survive because of your effort. If you stopped reaching out, stopped initiating, stopped doing all the work, would the relationship continue? If the answer is no, that tells you something important. Not everyone deserves access to your heart. Not everyone deserves a place in your inner circle. Choose wisely. choose people who meet you halfway. Choose those who honor your presence rather than take it for granted. There is a difference between kindness and self-abandonment. Kindness is choosing to be thoughtful, considerate, and generous when it aligns with your values and capacity. Self-abandonment is saying yes when you mean no. It is bending yourself into shapes that do not fit. It is prioritizing everyone else's comfort while ignoring your own exhaustion. It is living a life designed to keep others happy while your own soul slowly withers. Be lazy about rushing through life. Modern culture worships speed. Faster is better. Busy is a badge of honor. Multitasking is celebrated as efficiency. But what are we rushing toward? And what are we missing in our haste? The irony is that in our race to accomplish more, to get to the next thing, to stay ahead, we actually miss our lives. We miss the texture of the moment. We miss the taste of our food, the warmth of sunlight, the sound of laughter. We miss the very experiences we are supposedly living for. Buddhism teaches mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in this moment rather than scattered across past and future. When you drink tea, just drink tea. When you walk, just walk. This is not about doing less. It is about being more fully in whatever you are doing. It is about reclaiming your attention from the endless distractions and bringing it home to the here and now. Be lazy about rushing. Slow down, not because you have nothing to do, but because what you are doing deserves your full presence. When you eat, actually taste your food. Notice the flavors, the textures, the nourishment. When you talk with someone, put down your phone. Look into their eyes. Listen not just to their words, but to the feeling beneath them. When you walk, feel each step. Notice the ground beneath you, the air around you, the miracle of movement. This slowness is not inefficiency. It is depth. It is the difference between skimming the surface of life and actually diving in. Research shows that when we engage fully with the present moment, our stress decreases, our well-being increases, and we experience greater life satisfaction. We stop constantly chasing the next thing because we are actually savoring this thing. Be lazy about filling every moment with productivity. Allow yourself to simply sit, to stare out the window, to do nothing without guilt. These are not wasted moments. These are moments of restoration, of integration, of allowing your nervous system to settle. In the stillness, insights arise, creativity stirs, peace descends. You do not always need to be accomplishing something. Sometimes the most valuable thing you can do is nothing at all. Be lazy about worrying about the future. Worry is a peculiar form of suffering. It is pain about something that has not happened and may never happen. It is borrowing trouble from an imagined future and allowing it to poison the present. And yet, worry is one of the most common habits of the human mind. We worry about our health, our finances, our relationships. We worry about what might go wrong, what we might lose, what catastrophe might befall us. And in all that worrying, we lose the one thing we actually have: this moment. Notice the relationships that drain you, the people who take but never give, the ones who demand your presence but offer no reciprocity, the ones who guilt you into compliance. You can love people from a distance. You can wish them well without inviting them into your daily life. As you age, your energy becomes precious. Spend it on people who nourish you, who see you, who reciprocate the care you offer. Be lazy about worrying. When your mind starts spinning anxious predictions about the future, gently interrupt the pattern. Return to your breath. Return to your body. Return to the simple, undeniable truth of this moment. In this moment, are you safe? In this moment, is there actually a problem, or only a fear of one? Usually, the present moment is far less catastrophic than your imagination suggests. This does not mean you become irresponsible. Planning is different from worrying. Planning involves thoughtful preparation for foreseeable circumstances. Worrying is the endless recycling of fear without action. If there is something you can do to address a genuine concern, do it. Then let it go. Trust that you have done what you can. Trust that you are more resilient than you realize. Trust that you have survived every difficult day of your life so far, and that track record is worth honoring. Replace worry with gratitude. When fear about the future arises, turn your attention to what is actually present right now, that is good. The comfort of your home, the warmth of sunlight, the presence of someone you love, the fact that you are breathing, that your heart is beating, that you are alive in this moment. Gratitude is not denial, it is perspective. It is the recognition that even in uncertainty, there is still beauty, still goodness, still reasons to be grateful. Be lazy about trying to control what you cannot control. The future will unfold as it will, shaped by countless factors beyond your influence. You cannot predict it. You cannot prevent every loss. You cannot guarantee every outcome, but you can show up with presence, with courage, with trust. You can meet whatever comes with the wisdom you have cultivated over a lifetime, and that is enough. The laziness that is actually wisdom. Buddhist philosophy speaks directly to this pattern. It teaches that much of our suffering comes not from what is, but from what we fear might be. The mind, left untended, will manufacture worst-case scenarios and then react to them as if they are already happening. But they are not happening. They are stories. And stories, no matter how frightening, are not reality. The research is clear. Older adults who let go of unnecessary concerns, who simplify their lives, who focus on what truly matters, report higher levels of happiness than those clinging to old patterns of striving and stress. This is not accidental. This is the natural wisdom of a life well lived. The recognition that time is finite, that energy is precious, that joy is found not in having more, but in needing less. Think of it this way. When you were young, you were like a tree in spring, reaching in every direction, trying to grow as large and impressive as possible. But now, in the autumn of your life, you are learning to let go, to release the leaves that no longer serve, to allow the unnecessary to fall away. And in that letting go, you discover something remarkable. You are not diminished. You are focused, clarified, strengthened. The ancient Buddhist masters spoke of effortless action, of moving through the world without force, without strain, without the exhausting need to control every outcome. They taught that true power comes not from grasping but from releasing, not from adding but from subtracting, not from doing more but from being more fully present with what is. This is the art of aging well. This is the secret of happiness in later life. You do not need to impress anyone anymore. You do not need to explain yourself. You do not need to win every argument, fix every problem, or please every person. You do not need to accumulate more possessions or achieve more accomplishments. You have done enough. You have been enough. You are enough. And in that enoughness, there is profound freedom. So be lazy about the things that drain you. Be lazy about the games you no longer wish to play. Be lazy about the expectations that were never truly yours to fulfill. And in that laziness, you will discover something beautiful. You will discover that you have more energy than you thought, because you are no longer wasting it on what does not matter. You will discover that joy is simpler than you imagined, because it does not require grand achievements, only small moments of presence. You will discover that peace was always available, waiting patiently for you to stop struggling long enough to notice it. Aging is not a loss, it is a release. It is the gentle, gradual shedding of everything that was never essential, and what remains, once all the excess falls away, is startlingly clear. Love, connection, presence, gratitude, simplicity. These are the things that matter. These are the things that bring happiness. Not the frantic doing of younger years, but the intentional being of this sacred season. So walk lightly, speak gently, let go easily. Be lazy about the things that do not deserve your precious attention, and watch as your life becomes not smaller but deeper, not less but more, not an ending but a beginning. The beginning of the most peaceful, most authentic, most joyful chapter you have yet lived. Because you are finally, beautifully, blessedly free. If these words have touched something within you, if they have reminded you of a truth you already knew but had perhaps forgotten, then carry this message forward. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Reflect on which of these 8 things you are ready to release. And begin, gently, today. One small letting go at a time. One moment of presence. One choice for peace over perfection. One decision to honor your own needs as sacred. We invite you to continue this journey with us. Subscribe to Quiet Wisdom for more insights into living peacefully, aging gracefully, and finding joy in the simplicity of being. Your presence here matters. Your journey matters. And the peace you are cultivating ripples outward, touching everyone around you. May you walk gently. May you release easily. May you age with wisdom, with grace, and with a heart full of peace.